morning, everybody. Welcome to the TBB 2018. Welcome to Copenhagen. As you can imagine, this being here today, it was not a random decision. Because Denmark, it has, when we are thinking about sustainable energy, when we are thinking, for instance, about the development of the wind energy industry, this is the place to be. This is Denmark. Last year they achieved a record. They achieved that 44% of wind energy was consumed by energy consumption. And the thing is that they are really having ambitious goals. So for the next years, what they are thinking is for the year 2030, they are thinking that 50% of all the electricity consumption is becoming from renewable. So we are in the right place. And it is not only about energy. Perhaps you don't know, but Copenhagen and Denmark is one of the most important hubs in terms of entrepreneurship. In the Global Entrepreneurship Index, Denmark is the 5th in the world and the 2nd one in Europe. Forbes has considered one of the best places to start a business because of their transparency and also because they are balance between work and life. And these are values that are important when we are thinking about creating a business. And for me, having lived here in the year 2003, something that I really admire, for me, were two different things. First, the Danish society. It is really, really relevant, the role of the citizen in this country. A citizen that has rights, but also has duties. And I think that to implement what we are trying to do, the energy transition, the participation of this citizen is really crucial. And the other thing is that now we talk a lot about collaboration and cross-innovation and open innovation. All these terms are really hot today. But in the year 2003, here in Denmark, there were already many projects that were really cross-innovation, that were really collaborative, mixing anthropologists together with politics, together with people from the business side. I think that this is one of the values that has this country, teamwork and collaboration. And this is something that from InnoEnergy will feel really close. So just as Shakespeare said, something really is blossoming in the state of Denmark. So now going to our topic today, the future is now. This is a kind of oxymoron. Future, now, what it is. So we were trying really to offer an optimistic window. Because always that we are going to conferences related to energy and sustainable energy, it's like the joke, tomorrow. No, tomorrow, no. Now, the future is now, is today. We have to be ready to implement, to participate, to have an active role today, not tomorrow. So for some of you, you could be thinking, oh, this woman is really optimistic. I am. But it is true that there are challenges. Just an example is the International Energy Agency. They have just launched a report where they said, OK, on one hand, we are going in a good direction. The good news is that 1.3 terawatts of new renewable energy are going to come up online from now to the year 2023. So those are great news, just to consider that with 1 terawatt, we could power all Europe. But on the other side, they said, but this is not enough. Renewables are really good use in the electricity, but this is just 1/3 of the consumption of energy. Transportation, heating, all these areas are still far away from having a good use, a proper use of renewable energy. So there is still work to do. Also, one of the flagships of sustainable energy in Europe, the Energy Wende, for instance, they have recently received some kind of not meeting the expectations. So they said, OK, we have put a lot of investment, but still we haven't received all the expected benefits that it could be. And if this is Europe, in the States, it's not going any better. Okay? We have Mr. Trump's, and Mr. Trump's administration is expected to favor oil and fossil fuels resources instead of alternative. And I'm just going to be politically correct, and I just leave it there. And very funny, if the cost of solar panels, if the cost of wind turbines are going down, why I am still paying more and more in my electricity bill? These are some statistics that say that the price has been going up for the last year, and this is not something that is not only happening in Germany, but in the whole Europe, in Spain, and in other countries. So at the end, our pockets don't feel those reduction of costs. And to top it off, we have this man, Nicolas Hulot, French environmental minister, that in open air in the radio, he quit it. He quit it because of the frustration that he could not do anything else. So after this panorama, that's the moment that perhaps, Diego, I have to present my resignation, because you say, okay, it doesn't look good. But as I said, I'm still an optimistic person. And I have here other stories that perhaps they are not in the press, but that they are really, really show the progress that we are doing. Let me introduce you to Sten Lundberg. Sten Lundberg, he was a Swedish medical doctor, specialist in cardiologist in the study of the heart. And he had, in his career, he had been working also in an international company, AstraZeneca, where he was leading a team of people to create a mechanical human heart. And this man, in his career, inspired by the pulping of the human heart, he was able to patent a technology that it was going to apply those principles to a wave energy converter. And then this researcher, this medical doctor, decided to found a company that is called CorPower. For me, what it is interesting, first of all, is that this man, who was basically a medical doctor researcher, went out of the comfort zone. He didn't need to create a company. He was already successful. He was already well-known in his field. Why to create a company with all the headaches that involves? This man, Sten, he had a dream. He really wanted to have impact. And what impact meant is that if he was succeeding in his task, if at the end that invention was going to be taken from the lab to the market, he would really have an impact on a challenge that we have, which is the need of energy. So Sten, very well known in the Swedish arena, in the Swedish society, he started, he founded in the year 2009, he founded the company, and he started looking for funding, looking for people that would support his idea. And unfortunately, he could not get very positive response. And as you can imagine, the typical things that he could hear. It's too risky, it's too capital intensive, or it hasn't worked till now, why this time you are going to solve it? I'm sure that many people here have heard that. But then, he came to InnoEnergy. We were just recently, in the year 2012, we were just starting operations. And then we analyzed the invention of Sten, and for that we used our network. I mean, he was a Swedish researcher, an inventor, and then we resorted to WABEC, experts and a research center in Portugal, also to NTUN in Norway. And together with these partners, we could see that, hey, that could be a solution. I mean, it could be much more effective than other solutions that were today in the market. Then we also resorted to our VCs, friends, and they said, no, InnoEnergy, don't dare to come into this. It's not going to work. You're going to be totally crushed with the results because this is not working. But independently of that, we said, and yes, we know that there is a risk here, but if it works, we are going to have really an impact here. So we say, well, let's do it. And that is where Sting became part of the InnoEnergy family. And then something that we started with him is like, hey, you are a great researcher, you are a great inventor, but we need a complementary team. We need really a team to execute and to turn this concept into a viable product. And that is where we started working. And that is where it comes Patrick Muller. Patrick was first a coach of InnoEnergy, helping Sting, and he had a previous background in entrepreneurship, and suddenly there was the match. Patrick also shared the dream of Sting. Hey, we can do it. And Patrick became the CEO. And after him, there is a whole team that has been adding and that are in charge of executing this kind of plan, which is basically basic. Then the second challenge was, okay, you have a nice concept, but we really need a product. So we started, again, coming back to the network, to our ecosystem, and said, hey, how we can find partners that together with Sting, together with Patrick, together with us, this become a reality, this become the product development. And that is where research centers like WABEC again, or the Norway's research centers, or also Iberdrola, I mean, they joined together, we joined forces in order to make this a reality. And the last thing, I mean, one of the other key things that we supported was, in order to do all this, who is paying for the party? We need funding. InnoEnergy started investing their own money in this project, but then, little by little, when we were meeting, this company were meeting the milestones, suddenly they receive, or they convince other people to join. The Swedish Energy Agency, for instance, the European Investment Bank, super business angels, that they have been attracted by the idea. So at the end, at this moment, I mean, Sting's dream started becoming a reality. And yes, it is in the water, yes, it is working, and then, yes, it is having the expected results. And the idea, what they are working now, is to have a full-scale deployment with an ambition that can save 25 million tons of CO2 per year. And also, this nice story, is not only about kilowatts, megawatts, and CO2. It's also about people. I mean, today there is a whole team of 23 people in this startup, and 24 of our game changers, of our graduates, have been able to work for a while in an internship in this company, having the reality and also having the drag of these kind of dreams in their own careers. And interestingly, I mean, it's not only CorPower. Based on this inspiration of the human pulping system, there are two other spin-offs that now they are being developed, Cascade Drive and Surf Cleaner, that are out there. So what tells this story, and what I love about this story, is that we have an inventor, we have a researcher that goes out of the comfort zone, and he's convinced that he can do something relevant. And then we have an ecosystem managed by InnoEnergy, where we have a Swedish researcher, we have a Spanish company, we have Norway researchers, we have also experts from Portugal. We have many different people, many different actors, and we are trying to manage that in order to work aligned and to work together. And we have an splendid team, which is the basic for the execution. So we don't know. I mean, probably in some years we will come back and we will see. But these kind of stories are worthy, and these are happening today, now. Let me introduce you another character. This is Siten Mandalia. Mandalia founded Solaris off-grid in the year 2014 together with other 3 colleagues. And they were really obsessed, these people. They were really obsessed about access to energy. Why? Because today, I mean, for us, perhaps we don't realize it, but 1.1 billion of people are still without electricity. So Siten and his team were able to create a PV modular system, which would pay-as-you-go basis, and with an integrated hardware-agnostic app. Then, in the year 2016, he came to us, he came to InnoEnergy and said, hey, we have tested, and it is working. We have in Tanzania some pilots, and they have worked. But I need help to grow. I need help from you because I cannot mobilize my ecosystem. So the thing is that we started helping him with the technology, with improving the product. We also helped him with the patents, protecting and having a secure environment to compete. And then in the year 2016, he came to the TBB, and he won. He won our pitching world competition. But the important thing is, despite he was very happy with the check that he came back home, the most important thing is that in that TBB, he met Joan Fayez. And Joan Fayez, he's the CEO of Renove Africa, and also he is an investor, a business angel. And the important thing is that, in his own words, what he said is that when he went to get to know Solaris, he touches his brain, but also it touches his heart. And thanks to that TBB, Siten could find the investors to have to their next round, 1 million round. And what that meant? This meant 80 kilowatts of solar panels implemented in Tanzania. That is the kilowatts. But really, what he was able to do is that 3,000 of households had access to electricity. And that is what he achieved. That is the words of the people of Tanzania saying, now my kids can't study at night. Now my business can be open more hours. So their ambition of Solaris now is to get to these 10 million of households in the year 2022. These are not the only cases, as you have seen. Today, our InnoEnergy portfolio of early-stage startups, they have already given access to 56,000 of people in developing countries. They have the potential today to save 5.5 million of tons of CO2. And something that we have learned in all this story is that energy, especially innovating in energy, it is a systemic type of game. We cannot do it alone. And that is exactly what we are trying to do from InnoEnergy, saying that, A, we need a trusted innovation ecosystem where we can help to achieve all this. And just look at around you. Today, it is the largest TBB, around 800 people around, coming from startups, coming from industry, investors, also researchers this year, relevant researchers and present photographers. And we need all these ingredients. And we can be working in different places. What we do may be different, but why we do it is something that we share. All of us, we want the energy transition to stop being a transition and to become a reality. So the future is now, is not only this kind of optimistic sentence saying, hey, now we can do it, but also it's a call for attention to all of us. What we are doing, not we in general, what I am doing, what you are doing in order to get all this done. When I was in the States, I learned a sentence. They say, Elena, it's business, it's not personal. I disagree with this statement. It's business, and it is personal. And that is why I'm not telling you in this presentation things about technology. No, I'm talking about people. Because at the end, it's people that is going to achieve these goals. It's the Luns, it's the Patricks, it's the Joan Fayeses, it's the all these names. So ladies and gentlemen, let's take this opportunity. You can do it. And welcome to the TBB 2018.